I left the house, left the room with a foxy on my back and my supplies in a magic pack, and I followed the sound of music, not up a hill but down to an old wharf shack. Inside I heard the trumpets call, a salute to the champions on the wall, and in the jazz of squalls and in passion brawls she danced. Oh, and the night she looked so fine to me. Oh, I am a man on an odyssey, and so tie me to the mast, I must believe. Oh, wow, diddy, I just had to look. I said, oh, wow, diddy, I just hips that shook. I singing, I patched on ring, little black book. I welcome fishies to my hook. They waved their giant knives, and the dark old minds they flicked dynamite. Still I kept the sign of my desire. When it's one thing sure, I made no apologies. The lights dim, but you shone like mythology. I must admit she felt so alive. Oh, diddy, I just had to look. I said, oh, diddy, I just hit that shook. I singing out that story, little black book. Welcome fishies to my hook.
Well, thank you everyone for coming. We are from Fishcare. So Fishcare is a not-for-profit volunteer organisation based in Victoria, and we're all volunteers. Most of us are uni students or just finished. So I'll go through our names. My name's Alicia. We have Sarah, Aiden. Hi guys, have a seat. Lockie, Mitch, Callum, Tim, and Liam. So Fishcare operates within 5 regions around Victoria. We have a Melbourne group, which will be our biggest, I think. Our Mornington Peninsula group, Central Highlands, Southwest, and East Gippsland. That's right. So we're from all around Victoria, but we've all been studying in Deakin. So we're part of the Southwest group. So we've come all the way up from Warrnambool today. So today we're going to be taking you through about 45 minutes of just learning and some activities. And then in the last hour, we're going to head out to Tidal River and go fishing. Who's excited for that bit? All right, good. So we'll be going through species ID. We'll be using some of these fish, and you'll be using those and measuring them with your rulers, okay, and learning what kind of fish they are. All right. We'll be going through pest species and introduced species, and what are the goodies and what are the baddies and what we do and don't like. Fish handling, what to do if you catch a fish, how to remove a hook, okay, and what tools to use. Knot tying, we have a big hook with us and we're going to show you how to tie a half-blood knot, okay. And then we're going to finish up, go through some safety, we'll give you a rod, and then we'll head out in 2 groups. So there'll be 2 groups of roughly 10 or 12 on each platform. So we ask that the parents hang around and supervise the kids. Depending on the weather, we will or won't be casting. So if it's too windy, we don't encourage casting. We'll get straight out there, just plop it in to see how we go. If everything runs smoothly, the parents can pick up a rod and have a go. But when we first get out there, we'll just be supervising the kids and trying not to cast and stuff like that. All right, let's get started. We're going to start with Lockie and Russ. They're going to tell us a bit about fish.
Who here has caught fish before when you've gone fishing? Yeah? Alright. Today we're going to talk about a few different species. The first few species that we find in the estuary just here. One of them will be one of these guys. Who knows what this is? Yep. Bream, that's right.
Well done.
Very good.
Another fish, we caught one of these guys around about this size too just earlier today, was one of these little suckers. Some people don't know how to say their name properly and it's quite fun. Does anyone know what it is? Yep. Trevally, you know exactly how to say it. Well done.
This is another guy. We commonly catch these over there too. Who knows what this one is?
Mullet?
Yep. Alright, good mate. Well done.
There's lots of fish that you can catch in the water here. Some look like this. A banjo shark. Other ones are like this.
Gummy sharks?
Gummy sharks.
What about this one? Pretty pretty, isn't it? Who knows what this is?
Good. And some of them have pointy noses, like this little guy. It's a little garfish. So there's lots of fish that you can catch, and in front of you you've got some recreational fishing guides. You already have it. Well done. And inside this book has everything you need to know about the fish that you catch.
Well, one of the things we need to know, it's very important, is how to measure our fish. And we use this, it's called a fish ruler. And the way we do it is if we get our fish when we catch him, and we need to know how big he is, because it's important. If he's not big enough, we have to let him go, because it's too small and too young, and it needs to grow a bit more. So the way we do it, we go from the tip of the nose to the end of the tail for the fish, and this one is 30 centimetres long. So if we look on here, this fish is called a luderick, and it needs to be 23 centimetres long. So we're allowed to keep this one.
A lot of the fish that you catch, you measure from the tip of the nose, so right up the front here, to the bottom of the tail to measure him. But there's something different about those, about the sharks and rays and things like that, or the sharks. So does anyone know how you'd measure a shark if you were lucky enough to catch one? Yep.
Put it in a cage, then do it.
What's that? Put it in a cage. This guy isn't going to hurt you too badly. He's called a gummy shark. So he doesn't have big ferocious teeth like some of them. Yeah? Do you have any idea?
You might get a really long razor and try and do it.
But sometimes you can catch sharks only this big. There's lots of different sharks.
It's big enough for the ruler.
Yeah. But how we measure them is we measure them from the base of the last gill all the way to the base of the tail. Exactly right. So there's all these little different things that you have to know when you're going fishing, so you can fish properly and fish right. There's also one other thing that I'll go through with you. Has anyone ever caught a puffer fish or a toady? Yeah? What did you do when you caught a puffer fish?
I asked my mum if it was a puffer fish or a normal fish, and she said a puffer fish, and then I put it back in.
Fantastic. Because a lot of people are really mean to puffer fish. And have you ever seen Finding Nemo?
Yeah.
And the puffer fish on there, he's a pretty cool dude, isn't he? So we need to look after puffer fish just as much as every other fish. And they're really important to the environment, and they're often considered to clean up all the rubbish on the bottom of the ocean. So we have to put them back.
We've got other ways that we measure fish, and some fish species have maximum size limits. And yep. Do you want to tell me? Do you know why that is?
If they're too big, you can't catch.
Yes. The reason we have a maximum size limit is because, for flathead example, this species is because I think it's 55 centimeters, because the larger ones are females, and they're the ones that breed. And so that's where all the stocks of that species come from. And if we catch all the big ones, then there won't be any breeding ones, so there won't be any left. So we have to look after the big ones to let them go.
They're the mums.
Yeah,
The
that's
big
exactly
mamas.
right. All right.
So we'll move on to introducing pest species, and Aiden and Tim are going to teach us a little bit about pest species and introduce fish.
Hi everyone. So in Victoria and around Australia, we've got introduced species that are desired, that we want to have, and then there's some pest ones that have been introduced that we don't want to have. So does anybody know what this one might be? Have a look. It'll be on the smaller rulers, on the freshwater ones. Yep. What's it?
Trout?
A trout, a brown trout, exactly. And they're actually being introduced into our rivers so that we can actually go through and catch them and eat them.
I don't know what this one is. It's very similar. Can you find it?
It's not on the rule.
Yeah, it's not
Well,
really-
this one's the rainbow trout. It's also a very good fish for catching.
Does anybody know what this one is? It's a bit of a giveaway from the red on its fins. Yeah, what is it?
A red fin.
A red fin, that's exactly right. Yeah, so these ones have been introduced as well, and they're a bit of a pest as well. So there's no minimum length and no bag limit for these ones. You can catch as many as you want.
Alright, who can tell me what this one is? Very bad. Yep.
Carp.
Yes. Carp. These are bad because they go along the bottom of the waterway and eat all like the plants and all the native fish eggs. They make it all murky and turbid and stuff, so they're
Make
really
the water
bad.
dirty for the native fish.
Yeah.
And this one, does anybody know which one? This one
Starfish.
is starfish, an 11-armed starfish to be exact. And these ones live in Port Phillip Bay and around Victoria. And these ones are native. So they'll be swimming along, and the reason they're better is there'll be might be a little scallop sitting on the bottom, and they'll see the little 11-armed stuff come up, and the scallop will see it and goes, I know what you are, you're bad, you're going to eat me, because it's got a predatory response towards it, and it's going to flutter away. So this one just keeps going along. Whereas this one over here, does anybody know what this one is? The Northern Pacific sea stars. This one's been introduced. You've seen one?
That lost one leg.
Do you know what happens when it loses a leg? Body with only 4 legs is going to go away and grow a new leg. And this one over here with 1 leg is going to grow 4 new legs, so then there's 2 of them. So when you get these, they're very bad. You have to take them out of the water. And the reason that they're bad is they're only new in Port Phillip Bay and around. They've just been...
I took one, but I chucked it back in.
You shouldn't do that. You should always take these ones out because they're bad. The reason they're bad is the little scallop will be sitting here on the thing, on the ground, and we'll see this one come up, and the scallop goes, oh, I don't know what you are, you're not going to hurt me, but actually it is, and it's going to munch, 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 and eat the scallop, and that's why they're so bad. Alright, so we'll hand out a few fish, and we'll get to measure a few.
When we go fishing, hopefully we might catch a fish. Not everyone's going to catch a fish, but hopefully at least one of us might. When we catch a fish, we try and pick it up. They're really, really slippery. Mitch, how do you think we might hold our fish?
By the tail.
By the tail? Do you reckon that's good? Oh, I think it might be a bit slippery. Usually.
Do you have real fishes?
No, not at the moment, no. But hopefully we'll get one today. The way we like to get our fish is once we get a fish coming through, so the fish is swimming in.
Is that a plastic one?
It is a plastic one. This is Billy Bass. This is an American largemouth bass, so we're not going to catch any of these today.
Do you have plastic ones too?
We're going to be catching lots of plastic fish today. No, hopefully we'll get a few real fish. So anyway, we'll get the fish, it'll be swimming through, and like once we get it, we'll pick it up with a wet tea towel. And why do you reckon we do this, guys? Alright, you.
So it tastes fresh?
Yes, sort of. That helps. Yes.
So it won't sleep.
Pardon?
So it won't sleep out of my hands.
Yeah, that's another good reason. There's one really good reason. What do you
So
think?
it keeps alive.
Yeah. So the reason we do it mainly is to, one, protect ourselves because it's got a fair few spines, some spines on its gills that are going to really cut us up and spike us, so we don't want that. But the main reason we do it is to protect the slime coating and the scales on the fish. Because they've got really delicate slime coat that helps them protect them from bacteria and viruses. So if we damage that, then the fish might get infected. And
But when the fish is out of the water, it just plods when it's under the ground.
Yeah, well, we try and not get it under the ground because that's really not good for it. Yeah, so we try and comfort lift it up by its belly in a nice wet tea towel, wet so it doesn't hurt the slime coat and its scales. And then once we get it, we remove the hook. We're going to like swish it back and forth, just trying to run some water over its gills, and then we'll release it nice and gently to swim off. But before we release it, we've got to get the hook out of its mouth.
Ground.
So we'll pass the fish over to Sarah.
Alright. When you catch a fish, there is a few different ways it might hook itself. But one, if you have a look, this is our fishing line. This fish has swallowed our hook. The hook is right inside its tummy. How might we get that out? What are we going to do with this fishing line?
Cut
Okay, no more comments, Ashton. Let's have a quiet time.
Alright. We want to put this fish back. It's not big enough to keep. What might we do if it's swallowed our hook? Just pull it out. If you had a hook stuck into your throat.
Get a knife and try and get it. Cut the rope off. Cut the rope off.
Yeah, that's right. So
So,
this guy here's done it.
we're not going to just pull it out because it's going to stretch all its insides and all its throat. Big voice.
Will you cut the string?
We'd cut it, we'd get our scissors or our pliers, cut it as close down that we could as we could, without putting anything into the fish's mouth, because that can damage the fish as well. Most of the hooks that you would get these days are biodegradable, so they'll dissolve in the fish's tummy. This is a big hook. Alright, hopefully this is how we'll catch all our fish. The hook will just be straight through his lip.
Right. So when we've got a fish and it's been caught and hooked straight through its lip, how do you reckon we get it out, guys? Alright, yes? Yeah. Well, we can't just pull it out because that'll pull through its lip. Yeah. We've got to twist it nice and round. Hope like we try and do it with some pliers because we want to get our hands as far away from the fish as we can. So we get some pliers, pretend pliers. We'll grab the hook, just like on the other side of it, and we'll turn it around. Slowly turning it and just wiggling it out of it, just so it pops out of its mouth, just like that. Yeah. So we just gently turn it around. Like it's generally going to be hooked to its lip or an upper lip. Yeah, we just turn it around with the pliers or with our hands, like use gloves as well. And yeah, we just turn it around and pull it out.
We do that so we can safely remove the hook from the fish, and then we can release it so that it will grow bigger, or it can just continue living in the river or in the ocean. Hopefully a swimmer. There are a couple of other fish that you might catch that can be seen as a bit of a pest. And they're toadfish or pufferfish. Hands up if you've heard of a toadfish before. Or you've caught one maybe. Yeah. So these fish, they can be pretty easy to catch, but they like to just eat all our bait. And some people think because they eat all our bait, we can just, if you catch it, just throw it away, or they might just hurt that fish for no reason. But we need to remember that those fish actually will look after the bottom of the ocean and the bottom of the river as well, and they eat all the rubbish food to keep our waterway nice and safe, nice and clean and clear. So we need to make sure we put them back the same as every fish. And now some knot tying. Ow. Pardon? They are seahorses.
So hands up those who've gone fishing again. Have any of you ever tied a hook on before with a knot? Yeah? Alright, hopefully we'll teach you that today. That's one of the most important parts. If you don't have a good knot, fish is going to get loose. So, we've got some little ones that we're going to be showing you how to tie later on, but first we'll just demonstrate to you all. So, you have the hook here. We've got our big fishing rod, this one. So,
we'll be using smaller hooks today when we fish.
Yeah.
For our example.
Not going to try and catch any sharks, but this part here is called the eye of the hook. So the fishing line. First you put it straight through, like that. You want to hold both bits of the line there. You go through, you've got to wrap it around. So you go 1, 2, and you're meant to do it about 4 to 6 times, or 5 to 6 times, but with this rope we're not going to get that much done. So you wrap it around, and you've made a little loop here. See that? So you get your tag end, which is that little bit there, put it straight through, tighten it, and you've got to try and move the line down. It'll start to wrap round and form a little coil. And you'll slowly, because if you go real fast, it'll burn the line. And you go down like that, nice and tight. Hopefully, if you get a big fish, it doesn't get off. Does anyone want to see how good this knot is?
Who wants to test this knot? Who's going to be our fish?
Who's big and strong?
Yep. Come up. Yep. Pull it. See if we can undo the knot. Whoa, that's pretty good. Let go.
Well done.
That wasn't gonna come undone.
One important thing is when you are tying hooks on and cutting off the little bits of excess line, that we don't leave the line around. Does anyone, who wants to have a guess at how long fishing line takes to break down? Yeah, mate?
5,000 years?
5,000? It's a long, long time. Hundreds and hundreds of years. You wouldn't be far off, especially with some of the plastic lines. So you've always got to remember there are some bins down on the walkway called seal the loop bins. So if you get your spare line, make sure you always put it away. If you don't have a bin with you, put it in your pocket and take it home. Because if you get a little bit of line, it might not do too much damage. If you get a long bit of line like this, it's just lying around in the water, bird might come along and hurt his leg and get caught. So you've always got to remember to take your line, but hopefully later on today we'll show you how to tie a few more knots.
We've got to look after Pelican Pete.
Definitely, always got to look out for Pelican Pete.
And then we'll pull it tight and slide it down. Slowly get that to slide down. Have a look at that. Have a look how good that knot is. Now, do you want to see if a big fish pulls on that? Pull on. That's not going to come undone, is it? No. Well done.
Very good. You want to pull it through so you've got a lot to work with.
Extra practice if you do it.
And then how many times are we going to spin it?
Is this good?
5. Okay, so count out loud.
Do you need a turn?
1, 2.
See Tyler too.
3. That's a good idea.
Let's try again.
5. That should do. And then where do we put it through? This little guy's helped you because he's... Yeah, where are we putting it through? We put the tag through the first loop. Perfect. And then we pull tight.
Through the eye.
You pull the line, I'll pull the
4 to 6
hook.
times.
Push it down a bit. You pull the line a bit more. We'll push it down. Oh, it's coiling together nicely. All right, test it, boys. Test it. Give it a good pull. Fantastic. That's a very strong knot. Right for it. Very good. All right, who's ready to catch a fish? Let me hear you. Louder. Good. All right, I'm going to show you how we get our special bait into the water. These are the rods that we're using behind us, all right? And this is what's protecting our hook. It's called a hook safe, okay? So before you fish and after you fish, pop your hook in there, snap it up and attach it to the rod. Okay, now who knows what it's called to get the hook into the water, or the bait into the water? Yeah? Casting, that's right. Now today we might have a go, but it might be a bit too windy. So we might just be dropping our bait in and trying to catch the fish just close to the fishing platform. But if you really want to have a go, and if a Fishcare volunteer is supervising you, we'll have a go at casting. I'll quickly show you how to do it, and I'm going to try and catch a fish and show you what it looks like. So we hold the line to the rod like this, nice and tight. We flick the bail arm over on the reel, and we're going to bring it over our shoulder That's the water there. I'm going to cast it out into the water. Whoa, that was a big cast. That's why I left the hook safe on. All right, then we flip the bail arm back over and we wait for the fish, or we might give it a couple of reels so the line's nice and tight. And then we're going to hold the rod like this with both hands, keep the rod tip up and wait for some, the rod tip will be banging up and down like that, and that means a fish is biting. All right, so who here has caught a fish before? There's a couple. All right, what was the fish that you caught?
Salmon.
A salmon. Who else? I know you caught a puffer fish.
No.
A toadfish. Something else?
I caught a rainbow trout.
Rainbow trout. Fantastic. What about you?
Whiting.
A whiting. Anyone else? Any other fish?
Redfin.
A redfin. Fantastic. Oh, oh. What does that mean? There's a fish. But it has to start reeling it in. Oh, it's really big. All right, I'm going to reel it round and round.
Bring it in, bring it in.
Bringing it in. Here it comes. Oh, it's Billy Bass. All right, what am I going to do now? Am I just going to grab it?
Take it off.
I don't think that's going to work. What do I get?
Tea
Quick, help me.
A wet tea towel.
Use this wet tea towel. Okay, dunk it in the water. All right, Mr. Billy Bass. Come in under his tummy and gently hold him up like this. I might put my rod down or get someone to hold it. All right, where's the hook in Mr. Billy Bass? See, it's in his lip. All right, so I'm going to get my pliers, my pretend pliers, and I'm going to just curl that hook out of his lip gently. Okay, he's got a very floppy lip, Mr. Billy. Excellent work. Okay, righto. If this was a fish that we might want to keep, I'm going to give him a measure. You won't be catching one of these, so you won't need to worry. But I'll put him against my ruler. I'll identify him. Okay, so we'll pretend that it's a brim. I'll identify it, find out how long it has to be, give him a measure. Oh, this guy's too small, so we're going to put him back. Who wants to show me how we're going to put this guy back?
Me.
Who hasn't had to go? You up the back in the black. Come up here, that's you. Come up here, we'll come up the front. All right, take Mr. Billy, and we crouch down against the water. Oh, careful. All right, we'll pretend that didn't happen. All right, hold him nice and tight because they do wriggle, and we gently lower him into the water. Do you remember what Mitch was saying about swishing back and forth? So hold him tight, swish him back and forth. And what was that doing again? Yeah, what do the fish breathe with? Are they lungs?
Gills.
Gills. So swish that water in his gills until he feels energized enough to swim away. And you'll see him shoot into the water. Fantastic, buddy. Give him a clap. All right. So we're going to go fishing soon. Before we go, just remember, we're going to have to be safe with our rods. So when we finish, you've got to put your hook safe back on. For now, I'm just going to make this one safe. I'm going to show you how to hold a rod. All right. Thanks, Laura. Okay, we're going to hold our rods like this, or under the arm. Okay. Now, this looks easy, but a lot of people get it wrong. So listening up. All right, we're going to hold our rods under our arm with one hand. You don't need to hold it like this. What happened to my rod tip? It's going to hit people. Okay? So keep it behind you and nice and high, or not too high because there's trees. And we're going to walk in a straight line behind each other. Okay? And parents, we might need you just to help the rods not be flipping around all over the place. We're going to be split up in groups of 12 or 13 because I think there's about 26 kids or 27 kids. So, I'm going to get all the kids to stand up and make a line behind this table. So you'll just be a big pile.
Today?
No.
Why not?
I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't.
Did you have fun?
Yes.
How much fun did you have? Lots!